Well, as the province ditches masks in less than 2 weeks, many are wondering, are we nearing an endemic? Will others continue to wear masks long after the mandate is lifted? Let's bring in Dr. Raywat Deonandan, an epidemiologist at the University of Ottawa. Good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning.
I want to get your opinion. Is this the right timing for lifting the mask mandate?
No, I don't think it is. For one thing, we shouldn't be tying the lifting of restrictions to calendar dates. They should be tied to objective indicators we can measure in the population. And those few indicators that we have available to us don't indicate that it is the right time. Remember that when we enacted the mask mandates, we had about 150 cases per day in Ontario. We have over 2,000 right now. So it is curious to me what the rationale is.
When would be the right time?
Well, you got to look at the indicators. So, number of new cases per day, how much space there is in the hospital system, what the proportion of the population is that's vaccinated. But the big one is the number of new cases per day. And the CDC suggests that if that's above 50 per 100,000 people, then it's not the right time to remove those masks, or if the test positivity rate is above 18%. I personally would like to wait until we have a vaccination option for the under fives.
Are you worried that with the young ones under 5 not being vaccinated yet, that the virus will now find its way into that population of our society, predominantly those young ones?
That is my major concern, frankly. Everybody else has options for self-protection, primarily vaccination. Young kids often don't have masking options and definitely don't have vaccination options. And yet they're at lower risk for hospitalization for bad outcomes. The risk is not zero. And if enough of them get infected, we're going to have a large number of bad outcomes in that group.
So I'd imagine you're not on board with this for schools either then.
I'm not, and the biggest reason for that is the school population has a lesser vaccination rate than the general population. It's a low cost, high impact intervention, mask wearing. So it doesn't strike me as the best idea to take that off the table just yet when we have, still in the midst of a pandemic, hasn't gone away yet. And having the masking allows us to download the responsibility for managing the pandemic onto individuals. It's low cost, and people can manage it by themselves. So you always have that level of self protection available.
What if the numbers never get much lower than where they are right now? If I'm playing devil's advocate here because the government's saying we have to live with this disease. We have to get on with life and live with it. Recognizing that you can still wear a mask if you feel you're in a situation where you're around immunocompromised people. Is there a time where we have to move forward and I don't want to say take a chance, but take the mask off and live with it, even if those numbers stay where they are?
Well, yeah, there will come a time. The numbers won't stay where they are. It's not physically possible to maintain this level of transmissibility indefinitely. We do accumulate immunity in the population over time. Every single pandemic in history has shown us this. This one will be no different. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to expect this to be an indefinite scenario. Also, we have other technologies coming around the corner. We have treatment options. We have better vaccine options. We have ventilation options we haven't fully explored yet. There are a number of things we can do to drive the numbers down still.
If we continued to follow the trend, which has been showing the numbers going down, what would be your estimate based on the trend for how much longer it would have taken to get to those numbers?
Oh, that's a tough question. I haven't got a number on the back of my head, but I suspect as we enter the late spring and summer months, we're going to have extraordinarily low transmission rates, and things will look much, much better then. So already the mitigation tools are being taken off the table, as they should to a large extent. But I don't see the rationale for taking them all off at once. We should take them off one at a time, see how that affects the numbers, then reassess as we go. But frankly, we're heading toward a good time or a good scenario sometime in late spring anyway. So let's have some optimism and recognize that this is waning to a large extent in this part of the world.
Always appreciate your insight, Dr. Raywat Deonandan. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.